a big Starbucks, Dunkin', Bueno, New Moon, whoever you support in downtown Augusta, we love that. And just the fact that you get to come in and sit down around the farm tables that I was able to build, it just says something that we came with a precedence of coming and setting up in Augusta. Andre was the main owner, main starter behind it. He reached out to me after I came off a deployment to start Ubora. And his vision was to get people to put down the cell phones, put down the technology. Like, he gets the reason why we need it, but we love watching the college students or people that come into the community and sit down and have their family talks or take their graduation photos or use our space just to meet and greet and catch up on friends. And that, personally, to us, is you're rekindling those friendships and growing stronger in the community yourself, because business deals go down there, and it's awesome to see that we can help be, in some small way, the backbone of Augusta and help it grow. Juggling this company and this endeavor, being stationed here in Jacksonville, Florida, with 2 boys and a wife that's also active duty, it's not easy. Biggest help for me is Google Calendar. As soon as I meet somebody new, I immediately put them in my Google Calendar for a follow-up appointment. We love and extensively use that. Another app I use is called Boomerang. So with me being sales for the company, I have to reach out to people all over the United States. And Boomerang helps because I can set a timeline for that individual to get back to me. So it allows me to get a follow-up email. Like, Google's okay with having where it sends you a nudge, as it's called, on Google Mail, and it's like, hey, did you forget about this email or talk to somebody? Boomerang, you can say, hey, I want a reminder on this date to send back information or do a follow-up or whatnot. And you can type in notes about the conversation you had with those individuals or that person, or what your reasoning was going with them. So that helps me a lot in working out timelines, like time management. I do the Navy thing, so I teach young sailors joining the Navy now to track submarines while we fly. I'm not actually a pilot. I just fly in the P-8 and track submarines from the air. So my time management is I'm in a schoolhouse, get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, get the schoolhouse set up, and then at 11 to 12:30, while I'm stuffing my face with whatever great grub that I cooked the night before, I do calls, interviews, emails, stuff like that to get going. And then in that afternoon, I'll follow up with emails. And then I put on family time, because really that's important. Like, without my family having my back, I wouldn't be as good as I am, because I need that refresher. I need that recharge to have somebody have my back, as most people have. So with that, then after the evening time, when I put them to bed, I jump back in the email game. And yeah, the hours are long sometimes, but it's worth it when you get somebody that's like, I've never drank coffee black before in my life. This is the first coffee I could drink. Or one of the ladies, she had celiac disease, gluten intolerance. She was scared to drink coffee. It put her in the hospital and almost killed her because she was so sensitive. Our decaf doesn't have any chemicals in the process to remove the decaf. And really, our coffee is the only one that she'll drink because of that reason, because she knows we don't put chemicals in it. So knowing that we can help people get back to enjoying a product that they lost a connection with due to health issues or whatnot, it's big for us. We're not, I grew up on a farm in North Carolina, raising Black Angus cattle. Andre was born in Brazil, grew up in Argentina. So for us to start this business with really not much due regard for business knowledge, and then using Google extensively, along with just reaching out and asking people for help. I ask questions. I'm not afraid to meet somebody and be like, hey, what have you got going on? How did you do this? I even reached out to Evan. He owns Black Rifle Coffee Company. I talked to him some. I took a leap of faith to just reach out to him and be like, hey, man, another active duty owner here. I know you did great coffee. I loved how your marketing campaign, you hit with CNN and hit home and raised that freedom flag. Starbucks wanted their campaign of 10,000 refugees hired. And here Black Rifle spits out, well, I'm going to hire 10,000 veterans. They literally pulled on the heartstrings of Americans. He went from roasting a few thousand pounds a year to 17 million pounds in 3 years, which is an unprecedented growth. He has almost 1,000 veteran employees now, which is really awesome. And it's just that kind of the giving back that we want to grow to that but without the antics of Black Rifle Coffee. We like having a more refined taste that people get to come in and enjoy, and sit down in our cafe that people say, hey, I feel like I'm back in LA, or I feel like I'm in New York, or I feel like I'm in a speakeasy setting in our cafe. And that was Andre's whole grand design when he got me to build that place by hand, which was, it was a huge venture in itself. So I think we have a greater appreciation for what we do and bring, that we grew and researched, and a lot of the people in the community reached out. Tommy, Garden City Social, Mike from Allstate, or excuse me, State Farm. Ooh, I better not mess that one up. Augusta business community, like the Chamber of Commerce, all people that were great. Catherine reached out to me, and once I found out about you guys for doing the scavenger hunts, I jumped on board because we realized helping the community grow will help us grow because we help invest ourselves. The time management, it's critical to get things done and not forget about something with a customer for that. We follow up every email with the Ubora team. We sign it at the end of it so people know kind of who they're talking to. We make sure that everybody gets that customer service. We hand sign our letters, and we couldn't believe how big of reception that received when we sent out packages, because we do online sales as well. So for our truck, we have a coffee truck we go to concerts with, huge rock festivals and stuff like that work for us. Our cafe runs down in Augusta, Georgia, most of you know. And then the roastery, we ship all over the United States, including a lot of Seattle coffee here in Washington. We, as we like to laugh, we send coffee from a small town roastery in Augusta, Georgia, repping your name, and we send it to Seattle, Washington, which is like the Mecca, the holy land of coffee some people talk about. And there it is, and we're putting it back to Washington State. It's kind of a cool thing to have. Any questions y'all might have for me?
But your coffee's good.
I have a question. Do you actually do smaller events with your truck?
It depends. It depends on what day it is, because considering me, Andre, and Walter are also active duty, we try to do as many small events to help the community, but the truck is based here in Jacksonville, Florida. So the biggest thing is I go and do like 90,000 person concerts or 30,000 person concerts, because I have to bring in a team of 8 people to run it with me. So we do smaller events, like we're trying to get for masters and help grow with that, but it just depends on the size. Like we give back to some of the schools in the area because they're close to where my boys go. So we do Teacher Appreciation Week for that and drop off and help the community that way as well. But it just honestly depends upon the size. Whether because sometimes you got to think about it economically. I'm bringing a huge trailer out that I have to tow with my truck. I got a generator that costs quite a bit for gas. So sometimes it's about the economics of bringing it into that place. A lot of people ask for an event guarantee, coffee trucks and food trucks wise. They'll ask for like a $300, $400, $500 event guarantee depending on the length of the event. So if they don't reach a sales minimal, they still at least make some kind of money. Does that help answer?
Yes, it does. So if I wanted you to come to one of ours, since we're here in Evans, I'm going to look to see if I can somehow work it in when you're going to come for the Masters, because you'd already be in town.
I have brought it up for a few church events in Augusta that had like church festival days where they brought in their whole community of like a few hundred people from the church. We were more than happy to bring in for that, because it's a big event. It's not like we're going to serve 20 people or 30 people. Like it helps give back to that type of community.
Phillip, how is this?
Okay. So
go ahead.
do you ever, is it posted on your website when the truck is going to be up this way?
No, ma'am. We do try to post when we're going to be at concerts or stuff like that as I get dates lined up. But normally we don't put it on our website or Facebook. We have an Instagram for the Ubora coffee truck. But that is more, sometimes we post for the events if it's more of an open and public event. But if it's a private, like, hey, the church comes to me and they're like, hey, we're doing a private event for our church, we do keep it at the privacy clause for them, you know, and not advertise it. We'll post pictures about the great patrons enjoying it, but we don't, you know, we respect that kind of thing.
So
Okay.
Phillip, how
Right.
is this?
Thank you.
How is the coronavirus making a difference for you? For these big events are all canceled. What is that doing for you right now?
That hurt tremendously. We tried to pivot, is a term that a lot of you might hear, with setting up proper stuff inside the cafe, but the truck, it literally took me out of the game. I went down to Okeechobee and did a 5-day event in Okeechobee, Florida, for a huge concert there, and we rocked out. I mean, literally blew out down there and served great customers. We had 4 more concerts lined up, including Thunder and Evans. And of course, all those lost. That was a substantial, I mean, thousands of dollars projected loss for us. And we tried to pivot and go to a hospital. One, so we could set up in front of each of the hospitals in Augusta and help serve them. But we could never get the right people to give us approval to be there. That's the thing that sucked. Like as the hierarchy chain of command goes, we had the approval and love of the nurses and doctors and some of the general managers, but we could never get the approval of the board to let us come and set up for, a day at each of the places. And it ruined us because, I mean, we already offer in our store 10% off for nurses, first responders, teachers in our store alone, because without them taking care of our family while we're deployed, we knew we won't have a leg to stand on. It's one more thing I got to worry about while I'm deployed. Not being able to fret about, is my kid's in school doing great? Is that nurse taking care of my kid who decides to be Evel Knievel, it seems like half the time? It's one of those things we try to, but it happens, things happen, but we park the truck and it's in idle waiting for this fall that looks like it's about to ramp back up for concerts for us.
Wishing you the best of luck.
Thank you, man.
So I know that we've talked a little bit about this, but in terms of that pivoting and just ways that Ubora continues to innovate, whether that's online or new products or special releases, what kinds of things have you been doing there, and what can we expect to see moving forward?
Some of the cool things, huge shout out to Show Pony for really taking care of the Augusta community. Like, those guys rocked out. We didn't lay off any of our employees. We had 2 that chose to leave for safety of their family, and that was their choice, and we supported it. We helped them fill out the paperwork to get unemployment, and it gave them first offer to come back if they wanted to once they felt comfortable in the community. And we showed that level of commitment and care. Then 2, we started working with Second City. Second City, something I had been planning for a while, saying, hey, I want to do a bourbon barrel aged coffee. I want to do a gin aged coffee. I want to do all these kind of coffees in their barrels and let them age. Unfortunately, COVID kind of stopped their lines, but they opened up their sanitizer, which allowed us to get some barrels. And as you can tell, we're selling out within 2 hours almost every time we've done a bourbon coffee launch. Then we've pivoted and worked with Savannah River. We also worked with one of the other t-shirt designers for senior shirts that just got launched. I really do want to work with as many Augusta businesses. We've got Ann from, literally blanking the name of her farm, but she does like soaps and scrubs and like that, and we give her our coffee to use in those soap scrubs so she gets an all-natural feel and a natural coffee to go along with it. Because it's a great feeling to be able to see all these businesses grow with us, and being able to, like Mike, the Allstate from State Farm, he reached out and did a bag thing where anybody that just came and got a policy quote, he gave them a free bag of coffee. And that was a partnership. We worked with him and said, hey, if you're going to do something like this, because he came out and just did it out to support us. And we reached out to him and said, hey, man, let us know next time. Like, we would love to help out. Like, we know you're trying to help grow small business, but we like to partner too, We're not afraid to do that kind of thing. And do giveaways like Halon Salon. For Mother's Day, we gave away a $300 gift card for a mom and daughter to go enjoy themselves, to help out some of the great salons that are in Augusta. Is there any
I
other
also
question?
know for Pausing Haws, it was really good when you did the little locally made things and that like pop up at your store. So he will do stuff like that too. So.
Yep, I did. I love that from you guys. That was one of the cool things that we were trying to do, that where we get vendors, local vendors, like small, super small businesses to come in to our store and set up on a Friday or Saturday when they want, because that's our largest traffic time, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that way they can kind of set up. The space is free. Like, literally, I'm not going to charge you to come set up in there and just show off your product, because you're a small business. I still know where I came from, and I want to help other businesses grow. We've done also with Humane Society, did giveaways where we did coffee for anybody that adopted a dog or cat, and also served drinks there at their event. Because we have a small mobile unit that we try to set up when Walter or I can get there to man it. We try to set those up at small events like that help give back to the community.
I know you are kind of closing out your time in the service, but you have been, part of the Navy for quite some time, and that does keep you sometimes away from Augusta, but ultimately is something that dictates how things happen for you, and especially with pivoting. Are there any kind of specific takeaways from your armed service experience that translate to how you run and adapt your business?
A lot. The coffee truck's a big one. I put a 8.5 foot wide by 16 foot trailer was bought out of necessity because we had our landlord kind of tie us up, helping us finish our cafe back in from February 2018 to November 2018. We were not able to open our cafe due to code issues on his part. So we pivoted there. I built the truck out completely myself. The coffee truck ourselves, I'll tell you guys honestly, the trailer was about $12K. I invested all my personal money, what we had left, and literally got a coffee truck up and running in about $30,000. I had professional equipment put in, shopped around, and literally negotiated deals as best I could. Pivoted. First event we did was for a cancer survivor down here in Florida. Her community asked us to come out and donate a portion of our sales they were also doing gift basket giveaways and stuff. And we took off from there. We hit the ground running, and I started doing more and more events, growing with them. And for the shop, once we finally opened and got moving, we started giving back with Toys for Tots and more of those events. So I don't know, for us in time, I try to airspeed things, the truck, super quick to get out there, set up, management of my people. I remember how we were treated in the military, sometimes not the best. Long hours. I try to make sure my workers are taken care of, and I think that pays dividends on the back end because, yes, we've had some turnover sometimes, but 9 times out of 10, most of those people left to do bigger and better things. Jonathan got a seat in the Senate, to be an aide, unofficial paid aide up there in DC, and he felt horrible. He was leaving us earlier than expected. But that's some of the stuff. Some of the people got accepted to college for nursing degrees. So that was one of the things that it sucks when we have that turnover because we lose the familiar faces that people have come accustomed to love and see. But when people leave, they stay in touch. They help us grow. They meet people. And we try to build that lasting friendship that the military brings a melting pot of people together and has allowed me to learn about so many different cultures and not be fearful to go up and ask somebody about their culture and just question and be like, hey, what is it about that you do that makes this, that you brought to America great? That's the great thing that I have. I think one of the things is not shy, not being able to shy away from a group conversation like this with you guys. Some people hate public speaking. And I think that's one of the great things you can get out of it. The military is they force you to talk in front of a lot of people a lot of times. I'm an instructor, so I get 12 new faces every couple of weeks of students coming through from all walks of life that I have to teach, how to track a submarine. And it's, you never know whether that person had no idea about a car or had a ton of ideas about mechanical stuff. So it's literally adapting to who you meet. Organization's another thing. Being organized, time management, keeping a book to carry and walk around with and to jot your notes. You meet that person with a business card. I've learned more times than not, somebody hands you a business card or you'll meet a lot of people at once at a convention, such as yourselves do. And you forget the face of who you talk to or why that business card may have been important. So I try to jot them down and have little pieces of tape that I'll just stick a piece to and write that person's name, or I'll write on the business card and say what was interesting or why I want to follow up with them. So I don't forget about that, because that's a huge thing is you meet so many awesome people and then you forget to follow up with them and you lose that contact, that lead that could have been future business or growth.
That's awesome. Thank you. Any kind of closing final thoughts that you want to share with us, or anything about the business that everyone can kind of have as a takeaway?
Remember, you don't have to, a lot of people, Paws and Claws is one of Anne. I love the stuff she does with coffee and baked goods and stuff like that. I know some businesses don't have to look as big and flashy as Ubora. We started out from nothing. We're working on getting business loans the first time. Money management's a huge thing, and not giving up. We hit so many trials and tribulations being in Augusta. I could literally spend an hour on this conversation telling you everything we did wrong. But I think the big thing is that me and Andre didn't lose heart. we had a lot of fights as business partners, a lot of disagreements, a lot of like headbutting. But at the end of the day, we realized that that's one thing the military does, is that you still hug it out at the end of the day. And you keep going forward because you know why you're going to be there and why you're giving back to the community. Because that one customer comes in and talks about the greatness of the coffee. It helps drive me more. So don't give up with whatever your decision is or what you do, but ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. So many times I wanted to be prideful, but then I realized I was way in over my head of where we were at. And I asked for help from somebody. Catherine's one of them. Like, she's always willing to listen to me talk or get pick advice or help with people. You never know who you're going to meet. Her friend Amanda from First Citizens, great manager there at the bank. She reached out to me for the PPP loans, literally took care of my employees, made sure like the first day it came out, she called me. I'm not even a part of her bank. But because of the service we provided at Ubora for her and her girls at the branch, she reached out to make sure I was being taken care of by Navy Federal, which is they're a good bank, but they're more for personal usage, not for business. And we chose Navy Federal because of the prices of using transaction fees and stuff like that. We skimped, and it bit us in the back end when the PPP loan came out, and everybody else in Augusta got the PPP loan, and we literally just got it last week, like just got it for our employees. So one of the things that I learned is, try to reach out, try to ask questions, but don't give up that heart. Like, you guys never know when you might actually be that next step, that one day away from breaking open and just hitting the ground running even faster. So just get out every day and smile and be happy that you're here, doing good, and you're crushing it. Because your mind, you have your goal set so high, sometimes you forget that goal is so lofty and other people may be looking up to you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Phillip. And if you've not been to Ubora, it's 1128 Jones Street, so kind of on the back end of the block between 11th and 12th. And it's just a great cozy spot. And again, like Phillip said, he's handmade counters and tables, and it's got so much heart and passion, and also, in my opinion, the best coffee in town. So a great place to stop in, say hey, make a friend, to even right now get a cup of coffee to go, or catch up on some work or with someone. And they're open early morning so that you can start your day fresh and a great well-roasted cup of coffee. And also just really, again, Phillip, for dedicating your time tonight, and also for what you and Ubora do in the community and with the truck, and especially for your service to this country. We're just so grateful for you all around, and how you have partnered with YPA. And also, so we had planned this a while back, but speaking of pivoting, it sounds like Phillip had to move his anniversary dinner to tonight. So thanks to you, and especially your wife, who I'm sure made some concessions to make sure you could still have that time, but make this happen with us. So we're just so appreciative.
Got the support there. That's a huge thing, is the support. But without you guys even walking in and talking to us, like, we wouldn't be who we are without the amazing customers. So I can't thank you enough, Catherine, for even taking that chance with me for the Harry Potter theme night when I reached out to you guys, like, hey, I don't know many people, but thank y'all so much for everything y'all do. Thank you for, continue supporting Augusta, because I've fallen in love with that town. I know a lot of people are transplants, a lot of people grew up there, but I grew up in a small town in North Carolina, and it reminds me so much of home, but my town has grown up, and it's now too big. It's not that small hometown feel where you know everybody.
Awesome. We appreciate it, Phillip. And thank you again to the Augusta Women's Club. And thank you to those of you who joined us. And they do have two $25 gift cards to Savannah Rapids Kayak Rental. And I randomly had a number selected for me and found that number in our chat. So Amy Richardson, if you're there, congratulations. You've won two $25 gift cards to Savannah Rapids Kayak Rental to enjoy with a friend of choice. And I'll reach out to you, get your contact information so we can mail that to you. But again, just thank you to Phillip. Thank you to all of you for showing up tonight, being a part. And I hope that you'll join us tomorrow morning. We can't be at Ubora for our usual coffee and conversations, but we are still having Ingrid Tutt, who's the special events manager at Augusta University, speaking on Zoom from 7:30 to 9 a.m. And then we also just have some really great webinars coming up, including next week, we are going to have Carla Leeper, who's the Vice President of Operations at AU. She's going to be talking about having difficult conversations. And then Jonathan Davis, who's very active on several boards and with several organizations across the community and is a business development representative at SRP Bank. He's going to be speaking on June 10th about how you can leave a legacy in your community. So again, thank you, and we hope to see you again soon.
you.